Hello and welcome to another episode of Darkness in Dublin. This is Nosferatu edition. Tonight we find ourselves in the sewers as the Nosferatu Persian, Dr. Michael Brightman, is being met with by a new to the city Nosferatu. So it's a I'm gonna assume it's a pretty typical night in the sewers. People are just out, doing Nosferatu things as they are wont to do. And there will be a new uh, person down. He's oddly enough for Nosferatu and the Warrens, he is still like fully covered up. He wears a bandana, like a pair of sunglasses, another bandana over his face, um, uh, a shirt, a long coat over it, long pants, long socks, boots, all in black, and he's just kind of standing around looking at everybody, looking maybe a little bit nervous, based off his body language. He's just kind of standing around.
Alright, so you're down. The Warrens are still in the process of being built up, so you're probably in the main chamber, which is like a big, empty, cylindrical room with bridges, and Enigma's got his computer banks off to the side, which he finally is able to reconnect to ShrekNet. So we do have Wi-Fi in the sewers again, and all that nice little jazz. So Michael will come in. He'll be flanked by a alligator about 25 to 30 feet long. He will look around and he'll look down at the alligator and he'll whisper something, and the alligator will just nod and walk off. And then he'll walk over to the new character and say, You seem somewhat familiar to me. Have we met before?
The man, you think it's a man, he'll kind of pull down the lower bandana a little bit underneath his chin, so now you can see two very extended, not quite tusks, but like teeth that are poking out over the top of his lips from the bottom. He'll say, maybe?
Forgive me for not introducing myself. Dr. Michael Brightman. I am Primogen of Clan Nosferatu in the city. We get so few outsiders coming in anymore, though. To be fair, I was an outsider when I first got here. Anyway, I'm rambling. Usually people stop me from rambling at this point. Who might you be?
I'm Jones. Just Jones. Nosferatu, obviously. But
Of course. My character is walking around without his Mask of 1,000 up, so you can tell he's obviously Nosferatu. He somehow is managing to keep his lab coat white. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Jones. What brings you into the city?
my sire told me to go out and do stuff, and so I just decided to come here. I don't know. It seemed like a good idea.
Who is your sire?
His name's Dave. Just Dave.
Just Dave. Did you ever hang around the Washington, D.C. sewer systems?
A little bit, yeah.
That's why you look familiar. There was a Just Dave in the sewers, and he had acquired a new childer a few years ago. I guess he kept you under wraps for the most part?
Yeah, and then I continued the practice, and he'll just kind of lightly chuckle and wave at the full cover.
Well, our elder in Seneschal wears a very ornate-looking mask, so you're in good company there. You've come at a bit of an unusual time, I will say. Were you briefed at all on what's going on in the city?
No, sir.
Okay. First things first, there are two non-Nosferatu in the sewers, and actually in our care. One is Esme. She is I think she's a gangrel. I'm not sure. She's very tight-lipped about her blood, but she also doesn't know about it. She's under the care of Seneschal Hennessy, who is our elder. There's also a female gargoyle by the name of 13. She doesn't really know anything else about herself except that she's a gargoyle and that her name's 13. So if you see them, don't freak out. He'll describe 13 and Esme to Jones to make sure that he knows. Anybody else that you see that's down in certain parts of the sewers that are vampires that are not Nosferatu, stake first, ask questions later. They should know better. Second thing, there is a Infernalist Tremere in the city that turned the Elysium into a portal to hell at one point. We're currently working on a new one. Or a portal to the Abyss. It was all eyes. You think that Abyss would be a void, but no, there were things in there that were staring back. He'll shudder, and you'll see a ferret come out of his pocket on his lab coat and wrap around his neck.
I mean, there is that phrase: if you stare long enough into the abyss, it stares back at you. So it makes sense.
It doesn't always wait for you to stare long enough, unfortunately. Anyway, he's still in the city. He worships not really demons, but ancient old things that exist outside of space and time. Oh, and he's also the Tremere that created the nice little ritual that turns us into gargoyles.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes, and he has a child in this city as well. Mikhail, I can never remember his last name. He's a Tremere as well. However, he has apparently been absolved of his sins, but we'll see how that goes. Oh, and there's also a massive Sabbat presence in Waterford that is waiting for reinforcements from Mexico City to show up so that they can come retake the city that we fought and bled for.
You can't see through the sunglasses, but you can feel the blinks that Jones is doing.
At present, they hold the Waterford train station that connects directly to the Dublin train station. Also, there's a castle outside of Waterford that has. Have you ever fought the Sabbat before?
Can't say that I have now.
You're aware of the Zemise clan, correct?
In passing, I've heard horror stories.
Yes, most of those horror stories are accurate, and they have the ability to turn people and animals into walking flesh monstrosities, and there are a lot of them outside of the castle in Waterford. If you have to go to Waterford, don't. That's all I will say. I've sent my own spies in there. There were things that they were able to recover as far as information, and things they were unable to get close to. So, I believe that covers everything. Oh, there's also an auction that's going to be going on shortly, from what I understand. Apparently, there are other supernatural species that are aware of our presence in this city, and they all do things together. There are werewolves, there are mages, there are fey folk, changelings, things of that nature. All things that are prescribed for us to interact with by the masquerade. However, they're apparently aware of our presence. I don't know why. I don't know how.
That doesn't seem good, but
Stay away from the werewolves. From what I've been able to determine, they have a natural predilection to attack our people. Though they've been able to not attack our sheriff, who is a member of Clan Toreador, Francis Beaumont. I'll make sure that you get properly introduced around the city as much as you're comfortable with. I know that there are certain members of our clan that prefer not to seek out limelight.
yeah.
I do my best to avoid interactions with other supernatural organizations simply because we're forbidden to do so, but apparently people do it anyway. Also, if you ever attack and try to take the blood of a werewolf, I have it on good authority our prince will throw you to them.
Fair enough.
There is a fey-blooded vampire known as a Kiasid that is about to learn that lesson very quickly.
Well,
I believe that covers everything. The Seneschal is Victor Hennessy, our elder of the clan. I'll introduce you to other members of our clan in the city. Right, you'll need to meet Enigma. He is our technical expertise specialist. Abdal is a sort of the rank and file general of our military force, as much of a military force as Nosferatu have in the city. He is the one that is good at organizing it. Sketcher is the sire of our, is the child of our seneschal, of Mr. Hennessy. He is a little nervous, but I've been trying to grow him out more. But I do recommend you get to know him. He's an artist and he's a fascinating person to be around. What else? What else? Currently, we have no scourge. There is Alexander, Keeper of Elysium. He is of Clan Malkavian, and we're currently assisting him for reasons of our own design as far as the creation of the New Elysium. Let's just say that he wanted to go 200 feet down into our territory.
that doesn't work.
No. And rather than bitch slap him 5 ways from Sunday, I agreed to let the clan Nosferatu handle any building that is done in our territory for a fee. And he, of course, asked, why should I have to pay you to do this? And I said, well, you would pay your workers to come down here. And if you sent workers down here, like we couldn't guarantee their survival, this way we can guarantee our survival. So, of course, you would pay us.
Are the Warrens our domain officially?
The Warrens do not exist as far as anybody outside of Clan Nosferatu is concerned, except, of course, for Esme and 13.
Okay.
The sewers are our domain.
Okay.
They are the province and protectorate of Clan Nosferatu. Now, some of us have personal domains in the city as well. I, for one, have the zoo as my domain because that's where I work. That's where that's where my main modern laboratory is. I also maintain a laboratory at one of Hennessy's hospitals, as well as a laboratory at Trinity University. There's a reason why people call me Dr. Brightman, obviously. Anyway, so what areas do you specialize in?
Well, I've got a bachelor's in English. It's not been terribly useful for things after Bolt kind of gesture. But I'm pretty sneaky. I'm good at finding out information. I'm pretty good with computers, and I'm very well read. I know
It's
a lot
very
about
good.
a bunch of different things.
It's very good. I tend to handle certain spy master activities in the city. Anything that has to do with animal spies, that's my specialization. I'm the kennel keeper. I'm also working on transforming the grotto into a biosphere. Something to elevate our existence down here, as well as make... Well, you saw the alligator. She's one half of a current experiment I'm working on. The other half is a crocodile. But anyway, if you have any desire to involve yourself in certain aspects of tech information, tech gathering, things like that, I'll put you. You can find Enigma very easily. He doesn't really leave the computer banks. As for anything else, Currently, the sheriff is looking for individuals to form a boot party to go down to Waterford. I believe that is a flawed idea. However, let me explain how Waterford is right now. In
Okay.
any other situation, the Society of Leopold would be firebombing the place.
Mm.
The people are weak. They're being pressed down further. The feeding habits of the Sabbat are rampant. The monstrous nature of the Sabbat is rampant throughout that city. And I believe it's just going to get worse. And before long, they're going to try to come up here through any means possible and take us out. If you're as good as hiding as I say you were, probably would not want to put yourself into the war party. How good are you at traps?
Mm, not my forte, honestly.
I understand. Well, we're all doing what we can right now. Unfortunately, I don't have enough vitae and enough time to breed enough protectors for the sewers. Just do what you can, make yourself at home. Uh, Make sure you keep your influence protected, obviously, and your sources for information. Other than that, I will work on getting you properly introduced to the prince. Though the last time we had people introduced to the prince, an infernal Tremere showed up and turned the Elysium into a hell dimension. But we can always hope it'll be different this time.
Mm, plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Exactly. That seems to be the motto here in Dublin. Have you arranged quarters for yourself down here, or will you be staying topside?
I've got quarters figured out.
Good. Is there anything else you need? Notations on feeding grounds, that sort of thing?
That would probably be a good idea. I brought I brought some guys with me, but I also just in case don't want to intrude on someone else's place. You know what I mean?
Right. Unfortunately, there's no clan-specific feeding grounds in the area. Just he'll rattle off names of places that he knows are personal domains for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Stay out of these places. These places are personal domain. I do allow some feeding on my domain for members of the clan that are not properly situated, as long as it's done surreptitiously. So if you do need to feed on the zoo, just let me know. I'll arrange something for you. Fortunately, there is an animal blood bank on that property as well as part of the veterinaries services.
That's
I
good.
also I also have a little bit of pull with the hospitals beyond what um, Seneschal Hennessy has. So if you need something from the bank, just let me know there as well.
I've actually sent some guys ahead to get themselves in there as well, so yeah,
It's
should
a
be
good
okay.
call. All right, I believe that covers everything. Is there anything that you may need from me at this juncture besides getting you introduced to the prince?
Um, yeah. So when I said I brought some guys over,
Mm-hmm.
they're a gang.
I see.
They're my gang. They're not gonna do anything untoward to others. At least they shouldn't. But if things do occur, would you mind passing along to the rest of the court that um, I'll take care of it and they will never make the mistake again?
I will inform the court. Do you want to give the identity of these individuals, or would you rather just let it happen?
Um, he'll give off descriptions of some of them, but he won't give off names for obvious reasons.
Right. I'll make sure this gets passed along to the court. There isn't that much issue with gang activity, and at least not extreme issues with gang activity that the court has to become involved in. I would say that unless they plan on running around firebombing churches or blowing up monasteries or anything like that, they should be okay.
Yeah, they're not. It's mostly just kind of a defense thing.
Okay. As long as you keep them away from those territories, then you should be fine.
Cool.
All right. Well, we'll see if we'll get yourself introduced to the rest of the clan. Get yourself set up, and then we'll get you an introduction with the prince.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, one thing: the prince is the grandchild of Mithras. He is very traditional, very much a strict traditionalist. If you don't know your lineage, I recommend you research it.
I've got it several steps back, so I think it should be okay.
You should be fine. He was amazed at my knowledge, but then again, I knew my lineage all the way back to Evsimilard, so my sire was a very traditional individual as well. So I will leave you to it. Have yourself a pleasant day.
Alright, and we're gonna end there. Thank you, boys, for playing. Thank you, Buster Sparta. This has been another episode of Darkness Undoubled. Join us next time when hopefully things won't turn into a giant hell portal and be leading into the abyss.